up, y'all? Your boy Dumptruck here, and welcome to another episode of Chasing the Ride with Rider Justice. I am joined by the Scott O'Sullivan of the O'Sullivan Law Firm and founder of Rider Justice, and one of my really great friends, and now one of my new great friends. We've got capital G, Guillermo, 303, and then we also have Mr. Cody Kiebler of Kiebler Kustoms, and I have been excited for this since we hung out too long into the evening last night. This is going to be a fun day. I'm really stoked.
Oh, man.
What do you think, Scott?
It's going to suck.
Do you want to start where we've been starting?
No, I think you started off this time.
Well, all right. Let's just kick it into low gear because those are the kind of places I hang out in. So to kind of get everything started off, we're getting like motorcycles. When did that show up for you?
Yeah.
We don't need to know your whole history, but like when did motorcycles show up for you?
Well, for me, it actually didn't even start with motorcycles. It started with scooters.
Dig it.
I'm from South Florida, Miami originally, and small bore stuff is really popular there, particularly like Honda Ruckuses, and where we swap them, we put like Chinese 150cc motors in them, and then we build them out to like 232, 4 valves, fat wheels, all that stuff, etc. It's like a thing down there. So it's really, really big down there. Like we used to race them all up and down Florida, drag race them, go to big events, go to Barber, small bore rally, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of where I got my start, kind of not really wrenching on bikes, but just like getting like into that world. I've been turning a wrench since I was young, building race cars with my dad, but I really got really deep into like the custom ruckus, like Grom, like small bore stuff. I was probably like 18, 19 years old, you know what I mean? But I started wrenching when I was 10, 11, working on my dad's rally cars and stuff like that. But then somehow, some way, I got into the small bore Miami Beach scooter scene. And we would literally do drag races for money or for just like beers at the bar and whatnot. And it just grew up and blew up to that, where that mini moto scene just kind of is like international now. So that's kind of where it started. Went from that, got into the vintage bike scene, and now I own a motorcycle shop. So it's just kind of, you know, the progression.
It snowballs. It's an addiction.
Yeah, right.
Some of us have a problem with it. Some of us just power through.
Did you start the shop in the Miami area? Or did you start it out here first? When did you first start really wrenching?
So really wrenching on my own bikes, obviously my whole life, pretty much since I was like 18 going forward. But as a business, I started officially, I opened up October 1st of 2024. My own business. Before that, I was working for a shop that closed down in the area. I worked for them for about 3 years, won Employee of the Year and all that stuff. They unfortunately kind of went under, and I was just stuck where I was like, hey, I don't want to be unemployed.
I need a special parking spot, a place to put my picture for Employee of the Year. Like, you don't have any of that.
You know, I'm pretty good at what I do. Like, I enjoy all motorcycles, and I was like, well, let me just try a shot at being self-employed. So I opened up a business, and now I'm here. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, Cody, you've been in motorcycles since you were like really short person, right?
3 years old, I got my first motorcycle.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
So I've had them my whole life, ridden dirt bikes, grew up on dirt bikes and quads. I was lucky enough, the family I first married into were pro AMA motocross riders. And so
that's not boring.
All of our family vacations, you know, centered around going and riding, having fun. And I've been a mechanic since forever, as long as I can remember my dad having tools, getting into his tools and messing with them. I ran a little mechanic shop in high school out of my garage. And so it was just something I was always into. And between, you know, when you've got a motorcycle, you don't always have the money to pay for motorcycle work. And so real quick, when that thing's sitting in the corner not running, you learn shit. You know what I mean? Like, I really
you're
like
watching
to be
everybody
out
else ride their motorcycle. No, that's not the way.
Right. And so for me in the beginning, it was dirt bikes in the neighborhood, you know, running from neighbors and the police and trying to find little spots in town.
We're not running from the police. You were just giving them something to do.
Yeah, fair. Job security for them.
You're welcome. Awesome.
That's right.
When did it segue over into professional life?
So fast forward, as I was working on stuff as a mechanic, I was a mechanic in my own shop in high school, doing all my friends' stuff, and then I was a dealership mechanic at a car dealership for a while. As I then decided that I kind of like being a mechanic, I went to school to become an aircraft mechanic and got certified at that. And I thought, well, shoot, I'll go get the highest level of certification I can. I'll go work on airplanes. And I thought it would be this, you know, white jacket environment that we worked in. And I found out there are a lot of intricacies to being an aircraft mechanic that are different than what it seems like. And so for a little while I did R&D. I was the chief of R&D for an environmental controls company. We did aerospace stuff on private aircraft, military aircraft, learned all those engineering processes, manufacturing processes at that level, and then I did all the installs onto the aircraft, so the actual metalwork and fabrication and electrical onto all those aircraft for those products. And so the ability to do mechanical stuff kept going up as I was getting more experienced. And I think in 2015, I had a friend crash his bike and owned this metal fabrication company, had these mechanical skills that I'd used for years. I was riding on my own, hanging out, and I had the opportunity to finally build a chopper. And I was like, well, I've always wanted to get going at this.
Yeah.
And that chopper got seen by the next guy that wanted a bike, and that one got selected as a Greasy Dozen bike. And next thing I knew, we were off to the races and getting to employ these skills from fabrication and aerospace and manufacturing and stuff, and bring them over to the motorcycle world, have fun with them, rapidly translated into running a motorcycle shop that did service, which rapidly translated into how many hours of service did you get done today?
Yeah.
And the fabrication and cool stuff that I was getting into business for went by the wayside. My chopper has sat for like 5 years.
Is it still there?
It's still there. I still have all the parts, and I've mocked it a few times and done a few things, and then it tears back down. And it's like, ultimately, I'd love to have the ability to be back into the chopper bikes, the custom scene. There's not as much money in it as I thought there was in the beginning to actually run a business, but we've come up with some creative ways to be able to do it, enjoy it, show up to all the events, and still be profitable and show people how to do it.
Well, that's a big challenge too, and we can stick on the event subject. Have you been setting up at any events yet? I mean, you just cut your teeth a few months ago.
I mean, my thing for events is really making like an impact in the community. What I'm doing right now, we're having a bi-monthly event in partnership with Peaks to Plains, where we kind of teach people how to work on their motorcycles and empower them to learn how to do basic things. Like, you should learn how to like change your own oil, make sure your brakes work, make sure how to adjust your chain. You know, God forbid you go like on an adventure ride, you've never changed a tube, learn how to change a tube on an adventure bike, etc. Like, these are just all basic skills. Exactly, yeah. So these are all just basic skills. So at the shop, we have it basically every 2 weeks on during the winter. Every Wednesday, it's free, and we kind of just get together and just talk about motorcycles and teach people how to work on their own thing.
Does that help with, does that help with, like, you know, slow month season, like income? Is that the way to keep your wheels turning, or is it I like sharing information?
So the way that I look at it is I like to share information, and I was already a part of the community, so it's like completely volunteer based. It's my time is volunteer based, and the bike is volunteer based. So we literally ask on social media, hey, who has a motorcycle that needs something done, or that they need help with, that they don't know how to do it or want to learn how to do it on their own bike, and they bring their own bike in and they do their own thing. I provide the tools, I provide the space and the guidance, and we teach them how it works, how to do it right, and how to do it safely, so that they can teach others, so that they don't feel basically like inept when they go to work on their own motorcycle.
That's really cool.
Ultimately, it just helps everybody kind of feel more confident, ride more, and you know, if they ever have an issue with their motorcycle that they don't want to do it, they don't want to take on, the first person they're going to call, they're going to be like, hey G, you know, let's talk. You know, I'm going to give you a call at 303 Moto Co, and let's figure out what we can do. And ultimately, it's just something for us to do during the winter when it's cold and no one really wants to ride, to kind of keep that momentum going throughout the winter.
Get excited about the spring. Get excited about the spring.
So that's pretty much what we do. But yeah.
And I heard you say it now a few times while we were talking, is sort of ADV kind of adventure bikes. Plus, it seems like there's also some vintage side of you. Like, those seem like two completely different worlds. And so, explain how that works into your garage and how you do it.
So, my background, like I told you, comes from cars. I came in from like rally cars and drift cars and stuff like that, and race cars and drag cars, and all of those skill sets kind of came over. And when I got into motorcycling, I was like, I love all motorcycles. I like Harleys, I like scramblers, I like choppers, I like small bore stuff. I like camping. That's what I'm saying. I like camping, et cetera, et cetera. So when I was thinking about opening this business, when I was working at this other shop, and I was working on pretty much anything that had a motor and two wheels, like, well, what kind of motorcycle shop do you want to open up? Do you want to open up like a chopper shop, a Harley shop? I'm like, I want to open up a shop where everyone's welcome, where it's motorcycles. Like they all have wheels and they all have a motor and they all have, you know, decently similar systems. And if you know how they work, you can fix them or upgrade them or basically do whatever you want with them. So if you're good enough, why not just accept all of them? Like everyone that I've ever met, doesn't only have one motorcycle. It's like, oh, I have one motorcycle to go camping. I got one bagger to go and put my lady on the back. I got, you know, a small little pit bike that I use. Yeah, right. One for every day of the week. You know what I mean?
It doesn't have anything to do with that, but now that you say it, it sounds even better.
Yeah.
But it's like they're all very different. In my mind, like it's like I've got my FXR, I'll have my Sportster, I'll have my other FXR.
Yeah.
I've got my, you know, adventure bike. I've got my chopper. I've got like different ride, different day. You know, I mean, there's room for it. Like I've got 2 Harleys and a BMW, and people are like,
exactly.
is that allowed? I was like, it's black. Okay, it fits in with the other 2 just fine.
Yeah.
So not every bike does everything well.
Right.
Not every brand does everything well.
Yeah.
So my mentality is, you know, I want to be in the community as much as I can be and take a little bit of inspiration from each, I guess, category of the motorcycle community.
Although there is nothing funnier than watching baggers try to be ADVs on the internet. That's always quite funny.
Well, we have some experience.
You guys have done that. You've tried.
You're definitely those people that have turned heads by overlanders watching 2 baggers jump.
Leaping rocks.
Oh, bro. They were just like, wait, what? I was like, isn't yours made for dirt? CVO? Sure. Let's jump that hill.
Yeah.
Well, I want to keep talking about mentorship because that's what you're doing. And you're both very interested in mentoring your communities, whether it be motorcycle or otherwise, and we'll touch on the otherwise later.
Yeah.
But what I have found, and I don't think it's true just to my experience, is that unless you are like truly accepted and welcomed in by someone, it's hard to get that shared experience, that shared information. You know, it's like whenever I get older, I don't want to be the old guy that complains about the young guys that don't know anything, and here I am with the knowledge and didn't share it. Well, then shame on me. And it's really cool to see people that will be on the right side of the story at the end of it all. Do you find that to be a responsibility? Cody, you want to fire off?
Absolutely. I saw in the 90s, as we all enjoyed the biker build-offs, we saw
that really was a big deal. The biker build-offs really lit a lot of fires out there.
They really did, and they got a lot of people passionate about doing stuff, but it was this era where we kept everything close to vest because my skills are how I paid my bills. And at the end, if I didn't win that trophy, I built this bike for nothing and spent all this money on this show. And so while we can all be friends, we can't really be friends. You know what I mean?
You can be
in that
friendly.
era.
Right.
Yeah.
Recognizing that and saying, all right, what does it take to change that? That means a little more allowing everybody's different, like you were saying, from the Vespas to the guys that want cafe racers to the Harley guys to be involved. And for us to hand off that knowledge to somebody has to allow you to come in and touch their things and not just be, you know, I hold it under vest because this is how I make my money, and want to give that away. I think of Indian Larry, you know, great guy, amazing builder, tons of fucking skill, right? Unfortunately passes away in his prime, right? And there was only so much of his information that was spread out to other builders, and his label still grows on, but ultimately as builders we want to keep the next generation coming around. And there was a whole generation of guys that didn't get into shops that thought, well, if I'm going to make it in this life, I can't I can't have dirty hands, I got to go put on a suit or be in an office, and those, you know, blue collar guys, you know, they don't make any money, and sort of we had this whole era where guys didn't get into the shop and use their hands for stuff, and old guys passed away with this knowledge. And it's like, man, if we keep repeating that, this will die out. And so it's the responsibility.
We'll have ourselves to blame.
And we will. And so we've got to recognize, hey, I have the opportunity to do something. What is that something? It looks different for everyone. What I'm able to do is let people come into my shop and show them the skills that we have to do this stuff, to get people interested in being back in the shop. If we all loved watching it on Discovery Channel, we'd all love doing it ultimately as well.
Absolutely.
And not sitting on a couch, right? But have experiences in it. And to steward those experiences to other people, I think, is a huge responsibility. And I know G shares in that. Whenever you've got a heart for doing this stuff, that's where it's at.
I can give my 2 cents real quickly. What we do, what anyone does, is not black magic. It can be taught. Like the systems that we use, the tools that we use, the theory behind how things work can be taught. If you understand at like a real base level of how things work, and you build on that, and you go to the right sources, and you go on the internet, and you go on the forums, and you talk to the right people, you can build that. And these skills not only affect your personal life or your business life, but they basically overlap to other things. You know, building a motorcycle or a project bike teaches you a lot of things. Teaches you patience, teaches you money management,
Humility.
Humility. It teaches you, planning, goal setting, et cetera, et cetera. And these are all skills that kind of overlap into your life that you can use for other things. If you know how to wire up a bike, you can change a light bulb at your house. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can hang a TV on the wall, et cetera, et cetera. You can learn how to weld. You can learn how to do all kinds of things that will basically overlap into other aspects of your life that can help you. Ultimately, at least for what I do or what I want to do with the community, is to try to basically everything that I know that I have stuck in my brain to put it out there. And if anybody wants to speak to me or any other shops have questions and they want to reach out, I have no problem helping. Like we can do, I say this all the time, we can do so much more together than we can apart. And nowadays with the internet and the podcast and things like that, why wouldn't we all collaborate to be able to put that information out there?
Rising tide raises all ships.
Totally.
It's like one of the truest metaphors that exist out there, and it's like I've been in the manufacturing side of things for the last few years, and like one of the things that I've always said, we actually talked about it a little bit last night, is there's so much room for all of us, like for all of us to succeed, because no matter what you're making, you can't make enough of whatever the hell that is for every single bike that's out there.
Awesome.
There's not a company that can, even the big dogs can't. Like Vance and Hines doesn't have the volume to make an exhaust pipe for every motorcycle that doesn't have one out there. So you're not even in competition with each other. You're in competition with yourself to continue to innovate yourself. You get inspired by those around you, but this whole, so you make exhaust, well then we gotta be enemies now.
The only
You're gonna need a really big warehouse to house all those exhausts for every single motorcycle ever produced. You know what I mean?
It's just like
it's impossible.
There's no room for it, and the open arm experience that I think motorcycling is in the middle of right now is, yes, it's heartwarming and all those kinds of things, but it is going to be it's going to prove to be a detrimental time for our generation in motorcycles because of the sharing of information. Quite simply. Like, I see it a lot where you've got the crotchety old guy that's mad that the young kid doesn't know anything, and he's the one that was supposed to teach him. Zero accountability there, right? And like, that's got to be over.
Well, but your guys are making that happen to be.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And one, it's really the reason why we love you guys, and one of the reasons we're talking now. And
you
other
smell
shops.
nice. That's another reason.
Yeah, that's right. But it's one of those things that, you guys are this generation that is open to do these things and wants to pass it along. Because the bottom line is, as your shop grows, you need guys to know what the hell they're doing. So you guys can happily work in the shop with you and grow that business.
Absolutely.
And share ideas with these different shops, and it's okay. Like you said, it's not a zero-sum game, right?
Yeah. We can actually all win. You know?
That's right.
And like G nailed it too. I think everybody needs to know, if you ride, you need to know how to do your own oil change. You need to do your own brakes. The things that you're going to do every season, save yourself a few $1,000s. Very simple jobs, very mild tools to do them. And then ultimately the
Spend
guy
those
that,
extra thousands of dollars on cool parts.
yes. And then the guy that teaches you how to do that, we now have a relationship. We have trust. We have community in that. So when I have money to buy the parts now, because I didn't spend it on the brake job, I'm going to take it to the guy that I know, can do the over-the-top mechanical stuff for me, and I'm going to join in community. And it all goes hand in hand in building, the rising tide. It is all around us, and it's bringing all of us up and together, and it's awesome. It really works better than that scarcity mentality that says there's only enough for one.
But it also has to lead to probably some pretty funny or horror stories where since the knowledge isn't being passed along, people show up to like your shop and like, I don't know, you probably have horror stories of customers coming in. And
there must be at least one boogered up bike you can think about from recent past.
I'll give you one that was just hilarious to me. Maybe like 6 months ago when I was at the other shop, this guy's like, hey, I did a bunch of work to my bike. It doesn't want to turn on. I don't know what's wrong with it. Can you take a look at it? And I was like, all right, cool. I think it was like a DR650 or something like that, right? So I started looking into it, and we get to it, and I'm like, man, this bike reeks of fuel. Like, it just smells like straight fuel, and we don't know what was happening, right? So we started looking around, whatever. I'm like, all right, let me pull the spark plug, check compression, like normal stuff, take the carbs apart. The second I pull the spark plug out, I see a little bit of fuel come out of the spark plug hole. And I was like, there's no way that I just saw that. So I was like, all right, let me just see, right? So I turned the key on, and I hit the starter button. The amount of fuel that shot out of that thing, like a geyser, was insane, right? And the oil,
instant safety
hazard.
Oh my God,
we pulled the dipstick of where the oil goes on it. and just fuel and oil just coming out of it. So long story short, he didn't basically put he put the needle where the float goes incorrectly, so it wasn't shutting the fuel off. So once he cranked the petcock on, it was just dumping fuel into it, dude. It was insane, but it was just hilarious. It's like we even recorded and put it on like our social media because like when you hit that button, it literally shot like fuel like 9 feet in the air. It was insane. It was insane. But you never know, you know, like just it is what it is, you know.
You know what I love is I love watching one technician talk about it and the other one's going.
I've been there.
Thinking it through.
Kind of lip syncing and going there.
And then we talked about this morning. He's like,
Yeah, waiting for the punchline. Pop there.
Well, what's weird, but it happened. We weren't, you know, we saw a little bit. We were like, how bad is this going to be? And then when we did it, and then we were covered in fuel, and you're like, well, we kind of knew that was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Just maybe not to that level.
Yeah, but there's horror stories always, man. Like people showing up with like, they're like, oh, that's all on my bike. Like the wheel's about to fall off and things like that. Just crazy things. I was like, dude, like, did you even look at this before you decided to ride it 20 miles to get here? Like, it's insane.
I had a guy ride in that put a new battery in his bike, and the bike was running a little funny. And I opened it up to take a look, and not a single wire was connected to the battery. They were all just hanging, and I was like, how the fuck did you get in? I'm like, I'm trying to like figure out the opportunity for this thing to start. Did you use a jumper box? Like, I got all these different questions now. They're not going to help us fix your bike, but I've just got questions I need to answer.
Like before I get started unclustering this motorcycle, how?
Yeah.
It's just that one question.
He's a magician. He just like did it, got it to turn on, and was like, all right, let's go. You know?
And I wrote it here.
So you service your community in more than one way.
Yes.
Let's talk about the other way.
Yes, so funny things happen in life, and as I dissolved my last partnership from Broadway Customs, right, and got to go back out, be Kiebler Kustoms, do my thing, I needed to pick up more work, and there was an opportunity for me to be a peer coach. And a peer coach is somebody who has lived experience in life and is helping others through their struggles in those lived experiences. I was an addict of cocaine, of crack. I had a few different things going on in life that I was able to get free from, and because of that, and I live in a recovery community that I've been in for about 7 years, and because of that, I'm able to help other people get off drugs or work on goals or, you know, do peer support. And so through doing that, all these old bike nights we used to do were kind of in line with that, setting goals, helping people get to the next phase of something they were trying in life. You take peer support that I was then doing and put it together with a shop, and we got the opportunity to put together bike nights and peer support. And also vocational rehab, which is, there's a few different things that feed into it. But ultimately, we're able to do skills courses, we're able to teach vocation, we're able to help people with recovery goals, we're able to help people with job goals moving forward, housing goals, any of the things in life you're trying to get better at. It allowed us to then, as a company, integrate those things into bike nights. So now there is an income to just helping people. And where before it was just in our heart, it was something we wanted to do, the company paid for it.
Great, but groceries aren't free.
They're not free.
Right.
And ultimately, as a business, I can only do things for so long when I'm paying for them. If there is a profit to it, I can continue to provide a service. Right. And there will be a profit if that service is valuable for people. Yeah. And so we ended up in this pocket where we have the ability to do peer coaching and bike groups and vocational groups in the shop, as well as the service work. And so it lets, over the years, so many guys came into the shop that were friends, because you make friends with your customers real fast.
Yeah.
And they want to keep riding, but maybe they don't have $1,000 to do the 2 jobs they need, you know, financially on their bike. And it's like, well, I want to keep you riding. I want to teach you how to do this on your bike, like we're talking about. You need to do your own simple stuff. And I want you to be able to move on and get some skills from that, continue, teach a man to fish type thing. Ultimately, you tell your accountant about this and they lose their mind because they're like, you're teaching people how to do what we're trying to make money at doing. You're going to put your business in the ground. Right. And for me, it's the exact opposite. The more I give away, the more becomes available to give away, right? And the more and more, and it just grows upon itself. And so being able to help the community from heavy addiction, things that are killing us today, which we have an epidemic of that going on. And in the biker community, I ran for so long as a cocaine addict in the biker community because I was successful as a business owner. I wasn't buying it. It was all over at different shows. It was offered to me. And to be able to know how to live in this community without those vices and teach other people to do that,
It's huge.
became something that was useful. And all of a sudden it just prospered. And so now we've got the ability to teach people, do bike nights, do service work, and it all fits together in one business model. And like you were saying, do the bike nights sort of help keep business going in the winter? Well, Colorado is one of these states where you don't know what winter we're getting.
At all.
It could start in fall and it could end in summer. It could be it could be not
It
here.
could be in the mountains only.
Right.
And never even come to Denver.
Right, and so you literally are like shaking the dice every year as a motorcycle shop in Denver, like what's this winter going to be like? How much funding do I need set aside? All of these questions, and it's like, well shoot, just like the landscaper figures out that we'll do plowing in the winter, the motorcycle shop figures out we need to do bigger builds, we need to do classes, we need to do, other stuff. And so it does help augment through the winter, but it also is right in line with our goals of community. And then getting our shops together, your community and my community together.
Yeah.
Right? Because we see people like you've noticed, you go to a bike show, next year you go to the same bike show, you see a dude that you saw last year.
Yeah.
We're better friends time 2. We're better friends time number 3. We're better friends, 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
That is community. So when you're at his shop doing community stuff, and then we go to our shop, we do community stuff, we go to the next shop, we all ride together. Now we're mending something that was so fractured.
Yeah.
And we're able to put into that and say, what's my role in it? Everyone has a role. Everyone, from the guy that shows up just to ride his bike to the guy that has the shop and lets people in to touch their stuff. And if I think everybody just recognizes what's my role and how do I fill it, this whole community gets fucking awesome. It gets way better.
If I could just piggyback real quick.
Yeah.
Please.
The cool thing about that is it kind of removes that like entry barrier where some people are like, oh, these guys are just like hardcore, Harley daddies.
Right.
Or
yeah.
they're just hardcore ADV guys that go and they camp for 2 weeks in the middle of nowhere. Like the community thing happening and everyone being able to just like spend time with one another and interact with one another at a very casual thing really lowers that barrier of entry for a lot of people and helps people kind of become part of something that maybe they will take an affinity to, but they're not too scared to just show up. Like it's very low risk, low reward for them, or high reward, excuse me.
Right.
But then they show up and they're like, oh man, Cody's a fucking riot, or Guillermo's a fucking riot, or I had a great time, or shit, I learned something, or I want to go on that trip. And it just kind of gives them that little taste where they're like, this might be for me,
Yeah.
And motorcycling nowadays is not just like cutthroat tattoo people. There's, elderly couples, there's, young kids, there's whole families going out and camping and riding dirt bikes. Like there's so much like diversity within the motorcycle community.
Yeah.
And I think just being able to tap into that and giving these types of events that we're offering is really, really helpful.
Well, accessibility is a big thing.
Yeah.
And the image that we sell ourselves in our brains, like you were describing, can be way bigger than it actually is.
Right.
And when you make a place that's welcoming, you're also making your passion accessible instead of guarded.
Yeah.
To where, no, bro, you can't come in, brother. Like,
Right.
oh, please come in, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's,
brother.
it's all in
Yeah.
how you say it. Are you standing? Are you sitting? Is there eye contact? Like, it's really important, I think, to make it as accessible as possible. Because that's where a lot of the hunger comes from. They don't even know how much they like it yet, dude. They
Right.
don't felt welcome.
Right.
Right.
So, like, if they're allowed to come in your house, touch your tools, gain some wisdom from you and yours, it's like, well, I mean, really, what is there to it?
Yeah, right.
Like, you're brave enough to turn that first bolt, which is the hardest one.
Yep.
I am not a mechanic.
Yeah.
I am a wrench. It's not the same thing. And I've done some really complicated stuff
Yeah.
on my bikes over
Yeah,
time.
I've watched some of your
and I have
stuff.
stared at my motorcycles for days
Yeah.
without touching the primary cover that I need to remove because I'm just like, no confidence. I got no balls.
Right.
It's
Right.
intimidating.
It is.
Sometimes there
very
is 4 to
intimidating.
5 hours you have to spend in the shop just staring at things.
Yeah, don't
You
judge
know,
yourself
like,
for that.
that's
Drink
a
it
whole
in.
part of the
is.
process.
Yeah.
What best advice I could tell you or anybody is don't be scared.
Yeah.
Forums, I know they're kind of old school, has tons of information on it. YouTube has tons of information
Yeah.
on it.
Yes.
Or if for whatever reason you're not, computer savvy, pick up the phone and call your local shop. I
Right.
guarantee you, no matter where you are, anywhere in the world, if you call and you have an answer, and you have a question, they will give you an answer.
And if they don't want to help you, it's called the process of elimination.
Yeah, that's right. Hang up and call her.
You're like, and next.
Yeah, right.
I just
Exactly.
want my
Right,
business
right,
and
right.
friendship because
Yes.
I'm friends with the people that have wrenched on my bikes. I don't like it when people tattoo me or work on my motorcycle or my van without us having some kind of relationship.
That trust.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because I mean, all those things they become ingrained in me.
Yeah,
It
for
matters.
Sure.
You never want to go somewhere for work and pay for something where you don't feel welcome, where you feel like these guys are better than you. That's why they're doing your work.
Right? Yeah.
It's like that whole fucking mentality just sucks and breaks people down, separates people. We're all human. We all enjoy the same shit. We all get the same rise out of riding on two wheels, whether it's a 50cc or a
Right.
giant bike. And I think looking at what's similar between us is the key. What do we share in common? Not what are the differences, not how much more do I know than that guy or how much more does he
Right.
know than me or who's the legitimate one and who's the illegitimate one. It's like we're all human, man. We all love this. Let's figure out how we can each be our role because we're each different colors. We're each different dots on a Rembrandt painting, right? And up close, it doesn't make sense why green and yellow are side by side and they're not the same. But when you back up and you see this amazing picture, right? And green can be green and red can be red and yellow can be yellow.
Right.
Everybody has their role and it makes this amazing Rembrandt that is our community, you know?
I mean, look
I-
at you,
I-
you poet.
I feel like that was a moment right there. Anybody want to hold my hand and go to the gallery together?
He's right though. Like, just even in this expo, look around. All these motorcycles are beautiful, right? But they're all inanimate objects. If the people or the riders that rode them did not exist, nobody would be into motorcycles.
Right.
Like the
Right.
community and the humans and the interaction is what makes people enjoy this hobby or this lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
I mean, it's even how the first clubs started. They were all racing clubs.
Yeah, right.
Every one of them. Oh, you ride? Oh, I'm an idiot too.
Yeah.
Well, let's go get all of our idiot friends
Do it
together,
together.
and go do
Yeah.
idiot stuff.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you've got a tribe.
Yeah.
And that tribe grows and grows. The more that the more that you share.
Yeah.
The more that you share, the larger it gets. And my closest family members that I wasn't born with are on the road. Like, that is where my people are. I love living in Charlotte. It's an absolutely wonderful place to live.
Yeah.
I've got my small squad there, but really my family is out there.
Right.
Because I share, they share, and we look forward to getting together to share some more. Sometimes it's sharing tequila.
Right.
Sometimes it's sharing knowledge. But I mean, like,
Sometimes it's sharing a bed, maybe. Hey, you know, I need somewhere to sleep. You know what I mean?
Cold enough outside. I
It's
don't
cold
know
enough
the hell
outside.
out of my friend. I just got to warn him. I was in the Navy. It might get weird for one of us.
With a name like Dumptruck, I'm sure, right?
I'm saying they don't give that name away. All right, I want to hear about what you guys have coming up. So you just started is this your first business by yourself in October?
Yes. This is my first motorcycle business.
So everything's new,
Everything's new.
but you have new things planned, I'm sure.
Yeah, we got a couple of things up our sleeve. Like I said, we've been talking about just being in the community. We plan to work with various companies throughout the season to be able to go out there and support them by either giving them like physical, like manpower support, or by bringing out like a DJ setup and audio setup to host events. We want to kind of do some stuff with Revzilla, maybe like the DGR after party, things like that. Just get out there. But yeah, right now for me at least, it's kind of just figuring out and navigating like kind of where I fit in the community. And it's been interesting because I thought that it was going to be very difficult to kind of break into it, but it's been the complete opposite. Like Rider Justice, Denver Moto Meetup, Peaks to Plains, all these
Why do you think
individuals.
that is?
Revit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's just like I'm a breath.
Why is that, Scott?
I'm
Why
a
are you
breath.
helping
I don't know.
this guy?
I don't know if I'm a breath of fresh air or what it is.
bet.
You know. Right.
And we're getting honest here on chasing the truth.
I honestly don't know, but ultimately my goal is just build my brand. Let people
do
know
you.
kind of what I do and ride. I've been last year I went to Get On ADV Fest. This year I'm going to Get On ADV Fest. I'm going to Four Corners. I just want to get out there and just
Four Corners.
just tell people like, hey, ride your bike, meet people,
Yes.
try something different. Like that's just my goal right now. Building my brand, just getting out there and being like, this is what I do. I'm the only employee. When you pick up the phone and you call, you're gonna speak to me and only me.
Yeah.
Like I want that one-on-one white glove personalized service so that people feel trusted when they bring something to me.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
You've got your line in a bunch of different ponds right now. You've got your shop, Kiebler Kustoms.
Yep.
What does your shop focus on?
So Kiebler Kustoms, we focus on older Harleys, carbureted era, our like entire passion, like I said when we got into it, was choppers and older bikes. The stuff we can still work on without too much electronic stuff.
Yeah.
While we do have a dyno, we're not operating it currently, and our passion is in the choppers. And so getting back into that and having found a way to be able to augment financial stuff, being able to utilize other shops for the other work, right? Because then they can grow in that stuff and we can grow together. And so then also coming out with a line of parts.
How are you?
I might be. So we've got some really cool intakes for the Milwaukee 8s, the twin cams, the Evos. The Milwaukee 8 ones will be coming out first, but they're a performance line of intakes. We've got some tools to help guys make choppers. I really like going through the prototyping process with parts.
And you get to do that from your aircraft engineering background.
Yes.
Is that where you learned a lot of that?
So I learned all of that in aircraft engineering. That's where I learned CAD and the engineering processes that then led over to the manufacturing processes I was doing in the shop. And so it allows me to do CAD and then CAM, 3D print a part, which is freaking
That's
amazing.
how I met you, was here when you were
that's
set
how
up.
we met.
Yeah,
That
to prototype
outside
it.
event.
Yep.
Years ago.
It used to be,
Yeah.
dude, if we wanted a part, we'd have a guy design a part that we thought was right as close as possible. And then that part would get manufactured, like fully manufactured. We had to make tools to make that part, right? And so you're talking thousands, if not 10 grand going into that first one. We put it on something, we realized it was a little off.
Yeah.
And so we had to go back and
That
make
was
a couple.
expensive.
Yeah, we had to make a couple changes and try it again and pray to God that we got it this time.
Right.
3D printing allows me to do that like 5 times in a day for like $7.
Right.
You know, and then once I get to that right part, then I can say it's much like our guys that are using wire to build up tank bodies and stuff,
Yes, yeah.
cardboard,
Yeah.
or if we're shaving foam for seats.
Yeah.
3D parts is very similar, right? In all the hard parts, I can print that part, check it. I may not be able to run that part as it would be, but I can fit check it. I can looks check it, right? And get to a good part in dollars. Now, when I go to a manufacturer, I've got a good part that I know fits. It doesn't have to be rev changed. It may be on the 10th revision, which would have cost me $100,000 in the old
Right.
world. Now I've got this part pretty cheap, pretty fast. I can either manufacture it myself or I can send it to somebody who does just that. So now I've got more time to go back to prototyping. So it's my goal to be able to show these parts on bikes, be bringing them to shows, showing them off. People will be able to buy them online, buy them at our sales points. So that's been a really long, slow game that has been a part of what I wanted to bring out. And it's finally come to fruition. This year, the first of the parts will actually come out of manufacturing and actually start getting sold and offered to people. So that's a really cool aspect to what we do. We've got the service work that we'll do, the fabrication and welding work, and then of course the groups and the courses that help teach people, and we try to help people place into jobs.
So when do your wife and you hang out?
yeah, exactly.
So I actually,
Yeah.
Whenever she says?
when I first went into business, I was a 100-hour-a-week guy, and I filled every role, and I broke my back, and I learned about this law of diminishing returns.
Yes.
And Cody is only so good for so many hours, and after that, while I may be doing stuff, it's at a level that's performing down here, and so I set some really heavy boundaries. And being a part of a peer coach helps us also set boundaries in our lives.
Right.
I used to be very codependent, had a hard time saying no to people. Always wanted to be your yes man
yes
and help
man,
you
yeah.
out,
Yeah.
at the detriment of my
Your body, your
spouse,
family,
my children,
your
my
happiness.
body, my happiness.
Everything.
And so now I am a much happier person who knows what are my limits, what's my role, what are my limits, what can I say yes to, and then when I say yes to something, I can go all in at it. And I do only work a regular day. At night, I'm at home for dinner with my family.
Nice.
On the weekends, you can't get a hold of me normally unless we have a pre-planned something, because I'm going to be at home with my kids. And I just have these scheduled times. And then I find that when I show up for bike work, I'm on. because it's time. Because
Yeah.
I haven't been doing it, and I've been waiting to get back to it.
Right.
And now
I
I'm
missed it finally.
right.
Instead of like,
Right.
I
have to do it again, yeah.
And as for business owners,
Yep.
if we don't schedule our time off,
Yep.
we will never have any.
Yep.
Yeah.
People act like it's not like having a regular job because they tell you got time off.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
whenever
that's
you're
right.
doing it for yourself, you're like, well, I'm in business for myself, so I'm always working.
Right.
Like with that attitude, you sure shit are.
If hard
Right.
work was the answer, day laborers would be millionaires.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Right.
And that hit me like a ton of fucking bricks. And it was like, man, nobody could outwork me for a long time. And now it's like, well, sure, you can outwork me, but I'm going to work smarter, and I'm going to focus on the things I'm good at, and I'm going to get rid of all this other junk and be efficient,
Yeah.
right? And now, working hard is good, right?
Yeah,
Overworking
absolutely. It
yourself
feels
and
good,
waking
too.
up dizzy and having health problems.
Yeah, that's no good.
Not good, not sustainable. How can I provide to my community this support if I'm dead?
If you're broken,
You know, put your oxygen on first, then help others, right? Self-care.
It's just tough because you're wearing so many hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
You really need to like have
Yes.
that discipline
Yeah.
to be able to figure out like, any
When
business.
do I take this
Right,
hat?
When do I take this hat off? Right. When do I show up to work and when do I turn that switch off?
Right.
And say, hey, it's family time, it's me time,
Right.
it's whatever else. It's
How
difficult.
important
It's not easy.
How important is your life partner for that? Like,
Probably
being
it's
an-
probably the biggest decision you ever make in your entire life. Like,
Yeah.
like you need to have like
That's
your
right.
left, like your partner needs to be there for you and understand, so that when you're having a bad day, they're there to support. And
sometimes
vice
being there
versa.
for you too is telling you to stop.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Right,
That's right.
You gotta listen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like it's important because they have your back if you've got the right one.
Absolutely.
It's
that's
been
right.
really important for me because most of my job, I'm an ambassador, I'm an influencer. So much of it comes through this damn thing.
Yeah.
I'll catch myself emailing all day
Yeah.
when my iPad or computer is right here, but I'm still just like doing this.
Right.
So whenever we're sharing time watching a movie, even I'll find myself doing this. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's times where I go take it to my room because I can't stop
Yeah.
touching it. Oh, this thing pops in my head. It's like,
Right.
write it down and deal with it tomorrow.
What I tell
That's
people
a
is
big one.
you got to be open to criticism, whether it be from your
Yes.
spouse,
Oh, yeah.
whether it be from your friends, whether it be
part of your growth
whether
that's
it be
important.
from
Yeah, that's right.
whether it be from other competition. You have to be open to criticism,
Yeah.
because how do you know if you're doing something wrong or if you're doing too much or if you're overexerting yourself? Unless someone tells you, you're really not going to know, and you're going
Right.
to burn out and crash
Yeah,
out, like
that's right.
Cody
Right.
said.
Yeah, that's right. So, on to something a little more fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast. It's
We
like,
figured out the whole life thing.
wisest
We
conversation
cured all
in
the
the history of
things.
podcasts.
Yeah.
It's Cody's fault. It's Cody's
exactly.
fault. No, I'm kidding.
Preach on, preacher.
Yeah.
So we, one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, because we talked about community, we talked about shows.
Yep.
Tell me about some of your most fun memories from different shows. And you can start here, it could be
Oh, yeah.
wherever. Do you have one that's,
Different shows or like events?
events,
In general?
shows, whatever.
Just experience in the moto life.
Yeah.
I mean, I recently got into adventure riding. I'm from Miami, Florida, which is completely flat, so there's no like mountains or anything.
Yeah.
Went out to get on an EV Fest first time, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to show up and it was just going to be like a bunch of like Pol Taurus type guys, just like doing wheelies down mountains and all kinds of stuff, right? And we got out there, and I guess one of my favorite, things that I saw was I met somebody there. Guy, first time at an event, first time riding an adventure bike, and he's just like, I don't really have anyone to ride with. Like, when you go to this event, Rever has like these different routes depending on like your skill level. This guy was probably like a beginner / intermediate rider. He's like, can you guys mind if I ride with you guys? So we're kind of like, yeah, absolutely. Like we'll keep an eye on you and we'll kind of teach you the skills like that you need before we kind of get on these routes, because we rode them the day before.
Yeah.
He was so thankful that we took him out and kind of took him under his wing and kind of showed him.
Gave them access.
Yeah, and believe it or not, the event's only 3 to 4 days. It's at the Buffalo Chip in Sturgis, but after those 2 to 3 days of riding with that guy and kind of teaching him like how we rode and how to ride and kind of what to look for in the mechanics of how to kind of have this motorcycle, which I don't really know too much about, but I was with other people that have been riding dirt for a long time, and I kind of passed that on. His appreciation for the community for that event and for us and just that bond that we built overnight was fantastic.
You changed everything.
We still talk now, and we're like, hey, same spot under the same tree next year. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like we'll see you
Nice.
there. So the event's in July, so we're looking forward to meeting up with him.
That's very romantic.
It's so cool because it's like we don't even need to talk about it. Like we all know, every single year we're going to meet up under this one weird tree at the Buffalo Chip. So I think that's a super cool memory of mine, at least.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got
Well,
one?
and life is completely about experiences.
Yeah.
And
You got a lot.
I have
Yes, you do.
I have never been to multiple years of something and had all the exact same experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
They change. And there is always something new at every event. And for instance, here at the Motorcycle Expo, a couple years back, I was working here.
Yeah, you had a booth right over there.
I had a booth right in this other room here. And, I go to church. I like to go to church. I like to get a little spiritual recharge. And I wasn't able to do that, a couple years ago because I was here manning the show. Well, the Christian Riders Association, great guys, right down here giving out free donuts if you guys are hungry. They had a Sunday morning service, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I start the day off, with a Sunday morning service, and we'll go to that, And church can be a different experience every time you go. Well, it was right over here in the corner by the stage. You got the bleachers right there, and there's some of this sheer material, like we've got these curtains. You see how you can kind of see.
Keyword is sheer
material, and the lights were just right. Well, as I'm sitting at church, at the same time, there are a bunch of these motorcycle models, these female models that are doing their photo shoot first thing in the morning before it gets too busy. Well, they're using right behind the curtain next to the bleachers at church to change. And they're getting butt naked. And I can see through the sheer.
You're like, Lord, it's me again.
And there's a fan somewhere. I don't know where this fan is, but it's blowing the thing open, and I'm trying to focus on Jesus.
Sure.
Right?
And he's going, no, dog.
Some of his finest creation.
A little bit of temptation.
Also,
a little bit of temptation.
Right over here, and it's like. Well, I'm trying not to be that guy, but I also recognize that God made me to enjoy boobs, and He also made boobs.
Thank you, Jesus.
So thank you, Jesus.
I think everyone can appreciate.
You can go to these events, and literally, it can be a different event. Oh. Got titties and bikes.
Sorry, brother.
Oh well, and you broke these out.
That's the whole story.
I don't know if you guys know about these.
Oh my God.
These are special. These ones right
just
here.
like the wearer.
So
We will, Jen, our producer of the show, we're going to send some B-roll photo footage
For
of
this.
what this is about to be talking about.
So
Sorry about the hat, dude.
these were Four Corners this last year. You go to these shows, you're having fun. Dumptruck is emceeing a Barnyard Games event at the fairgrounds in Durango. And I was there in the crowd, and it was the last event of the entire weekend. Everything sort of shut down.
People actually showed up.
People showed up. It was a great event. We had an absolute blast.
Be there. It's like,
And I had just so happened that I had stepped on my sunglasses, packing up my tent that day as I was getting ready. And I was like, well, shit, I like to ride with my visor open to feel the air, which means I got to have some glasses. And I was either going to go buy some or find some, and one of their grand prizes for the winners of the games were pit vipers. And so the whole thing gets over, and I go down to say hey to everybody, and I'm like, Dump, is there a chance there's an extra set of pit vipers, man? Because mine just got smashed. What can we do? And I think it was the pit viper rep or the
They
one
were
that
hanging
was like,
out,
absolutely. We'll bring over some sets and let you pick. And they pull a few out and they show them to me, and I was like, I really like the black and yellow, it matches my bike. And they're like, oh, well, is your bike here? And I was like, yeah, it's right there.
It's right there.
And she's like, well, would you like to do a photo shoot? And I was like, fuck yeah, you're giving me free, let's do a photo shoot. And Dumptruck chimes in, he's like, oh yeah, I'll do it with you. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And he's like, we'll do it topless. And I was like,
that's where that famous picture
yeah,
got it. All right. Got it.
So next thing you know, they've got professional photographers, and I've got these glasses on, and Dumptruck and I are topless, and we're doing the full man body photo shoot.
We're exchanging
Pictures
sweat,
on the bike. It ended up making Four Corners end of the year reel. They sent out to all the
my
vendors.
gosh.
At some
Funny.
point, they'll probably do something fun. But that's like the spirit of these events.
Yeah.
Like, go have fun, experience fun new stuff. I would
say yes to it.
Say yes. Yeah, have an absolute fucking blast. Because while there are parts of this community to certain people that seem scary and tough, there's an entire group of individuals in this world that love you, want to spend time with you, want to experience this with you, because experiences for us and you are life.
Yeah.
So let's make them good. Let's make them in fun places.
Yeah, that's
let's do them repetitively.
Yeah, and let's make the stories better. every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna start
That's a great
calling
way to
Cody
end
the
it.
philosopher.
Yeah, exactly.
The philosopher.
Well, we've been doing something called the lightning round, and this actually needs to be a lightning round.
Yes,
because
yes.
Our conversation
We're
has
right here.
filled our time
Yeah.
slot.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
as quick as possible, answer these questions right off the top of your head.
Okay.
What is your favorite road trip food? Something you can throw in a bag.
Buc-ee's if I could find it.
Buc-ee's, anything Buc-ee's, here for it.
Breakfast burrito.
Breakfast, you're a burrito
That's what I said
believer as
earlier
well.
today, too.
I tuck them in my jacket sometimes, and I'll just like pop the helmet.
Bang,
and keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
All right, so what bike are you dreaming about right now, like to build or to ride?
I really, really want to buy probably either a new Honda Transalp or the new Cove 800 Rally, because I really want to get out there and start doing like more aggressive adventure rides, like long distance touring
Yeah.
stuff, and be able to still kind of get down like in the nitty gritty, like single track stuff.
I dig it.
Yeah.
You've been on a chopper trip. Is that where you're at?
Definitely a chopper if I was going to buy a new bike, the Buell Super Cruiser.
Oh yeah, sick bike.
And then do the rest of the work to make it the Super Cruiser. And then I will be finishing a chopper this year, my chopper that's been a 5-year project. Absolutely want that bike. So
I love it. All right,
I
what?
want my bike back.
He just finished the wiring.
Hey, I know. I see pictures. Yeah, exactly.
Thank God. Thank God.
For my
Yeah,
favorite.
he started it. He resurrected it.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah, whatever.
Brewster started it. It's like it takes a family.
It's a community.
It takes a village.
Takes a village,
All right,
right?
last question from the lightning round. Sweet pickle or dill?
None of the above.
Whoa.
I absolutely hate
Explain
pickles.
yourself.
Yeah.
So,
My sister's like
so
that.
I'm Cuban. I'm from Miami. A Cuban sandwich.
That's the second Cuban answer.
Yeah.
Ernie, we're from the same hometown,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All Cuban sandwiches have pickles on them and mustard. I'm like, no, thank you. Like, it's just like,
Like being wrong for so long.
hey, that's what it is, bro. I don't know.
It really is.
The
All right,
good thing is
Cody.
I can just pick them off.
Dill, all right, we can still stay super tight friends. That's awesome. I really hate that we have to end this.
Oh,
This
you're
has been
fine,
a
man.
freaking
Fine,
blast.
fine.
It's been really cool to get
Thanks,
to know you
brother.
over the
Yeah,
last couple of days. We'll stay in touch.
Likewise.
Appreciate
Pleasure.
it.
We're
Thank you
friends
so
for
much.
life. You're stuck with me. Deal with it.
Code.
love you,
Awesome.
And this
for
has
having us.
obviously
Yeah,
been
yeah.
a really
Anytime,
great
brother.
episode of Chasing the Ride. I'm really stoked to always be at Scott O'Sullivan's side.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
Guillermo, Cody, they both suck. They're terrible. How can we find your business?
Our business is on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's 303 Moto Co. Just hit us up. We're here to help.
Cody.
At Kiebler Kustoms on Instagram. You can text me or call me 720-315-3257. And then Kiebler Kustoms LLC, anything. The websites will be growing over the year, but find a way to get a hold of us. We'd love to help you guys out. We'd love to keep you riding.
Nice.
And that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining Chasing the Ride. Work it out.